So, Anne, you were talking about your family and your brothers. You wanted to bring your husband into this.
Right. We grew up on the ranch out east of Cortez. Our dad had coal mines, and that he provided coal to the Cortez community during the winter primarily, and then we farmed the land in the summer. And each of us four kids had jobs around and chores around the ranch. I married Don Brown from Durango, who was a fifth generation native of La Plata County, like we are of Montezuma County. Because of the history that our family has in this county, we believe that, and there are many families that have that kind of history, we believe that it's important to at least document that history so that future generations have an opportunity to know how people survived in this county. One of my pet projects is water projects, and I feel real strongly about preserving all of the system that was first organized in Montezuma County back in the early 1900s. The canal that brought water to Cortez and all of the Montezuma Valley. There are flumes. Well, actually, there's only one flume left out east of Cortez, and it is in the it is on the registry of historic places, but we need financial help to be able to get that flume restored and documented.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one of my goals if you had an opportunity to do something like that. Now, I'll let Kelly talk about what one of his goals are and what he'd like.
Well, there's a lot of things.
She can't.
A lot of things that happen, around that. For instance, there on the flume question, there were 103 of them built, to furnish water in the Montezuma Valley. There's only that one that's out there. So consequently, and it's not in good shape at all. So we did do some applications and inquiry on it, and it has moved up on the list of
Historic
places. So it's moving up pretty close. There's just when you stop and look at some of the buildings and things that were built. For instance, we had the Backstrom family were the ones that put the rocks together, into the very buildings that we have right down here on the stone block. And then there was a movie theater built out of the blocks that ended up being Marcel Motors.
It was at the corner of Ash and Main.
Right.
And our great aunt's husband was the owner of that.
Yeah.
He built several buildings throughout Main Street, Cortez.
And most of them were out of the rock.
And Backstrom's, he contracted the Backstroms to build them out of rock.
So that, every time you see one of these buildings get torn down or get revamped or something, and taking the history, kind of covering the history up on it, well, kind of bugs me a little bit. That particular one down on Ash, the floor was sloped in it from Main Street down to the middle of the alleyway, and that was where they put the chairs and the benches while they played the movies. Yep. And that was the way they got through all that. Just, I think some of the other things that we really need to do is that bothers me a little bit. I spent many an hour and days working on the vocational school. And then all of a sudden, we don't have a vocational school anymore.
Right, right.
We have a community building, which
Community college.
community college, which to me misses the point that the vocational school had. Because the whole idea of the vocational school was if you or I or our kids or grandparents or whoever wanted to go take a course at the school, maybe it was a welding course, maybe it was a hair
Cosmetology.
cosmetology. Maybe it was just whatever it was, but somebody would want something and some training of some sort. Well, we don't have that. I don't feel that we have that anymore. I think that was lost with when we went to community college. But anyway, that's just the other thing that we've worked a long time to get was the airport down here when it first came back in right after World War II. We had a lot of pilots flying around here, and the ushers had that airport down there. Well, basically where it is now, but a little to the west, and that saved that's helped us out here in Montezuma County quite a bit because of the people that use this airport also come in from Blanding and all to the west and the south and west of us. So, I don't know.
Now, is that the kind of stuff you want, or do you want us to tell what we used to do?
Well, that's actually that's getting at the heart of what we're looking at today, the emphasis on history and historic preservation. So you actually talked about a couple things that I hadn't anticipated, which is wonderful because the VOTEC, the vocational school, and its importance for giving opportunities for students who might not be in a position to go to college, a community college even, and that the vocational school is something that we have here that's unique. So that's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, in the original documentation for the vocational school, and all of the superintendents have gone together. I don't know if that is documented. I'm sure it must be. And all of the school districts worked together to get the funding for that school, along with the economic development specialists for Montezuma County, and their schools were all supposed to take their students there for the vocational classes. And, that has diminished because there isn't that much requirement there isn't that much need for those classes now. Or maybe there's the need and they're just not availing themselves of that opportunity.
Well, that was one of the things that we discussed very thoroughly whenever we were putting the VOTEC school together, is that everyone would have an opportunity to get some education if they so desire. I mean, it was left up to them.
When was that created? When was the vocational school created?
About 60.
Last part of 60,
Yeah.
68, 66, somewhere in there.
Yeah. It was about the same time we formed the Board of Cooperative Services. And that was the BOCES was the driving or the force.
Receiver of the funds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We even had the Four Corners Regional Commission, which was located at Farmington at the time, where the four governors of the four states brought everyone come in together, and we helped set up the meeting down here at one of the restaurants of the four governors. Then we went down to the Four Corners monument and took big pictures and all of this other kind of stuff there. But we proved to them as well as others that there was a need for the vocational school and so forth. Come to find out that one of the guys that headed up the vocational end of it, Bosco Krivelkapich was his name, was out of farming or Gallup, and he pushed it real. Went to the Four Corners Regional Commission and he said we need this, this, and this, and so much money. And by golly, it worked. We got there for probably the first 3 years. That school operated entirely on federal funds. So just because of the pushing that we were able to, we made a lot of trips to Denver and Santa Fe and different places like that to get that going. So that's kind of a
Little history there.
A little bit of a
bit
sample.
history, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.